In this episode, we are taking you to what we believe to be the most Spanish city we have ever been to. It's a huge call, I know, but stay with me. This is the first episode in a series of 3 about Jerez de la Frontera. There are 3 things that make this city uniquely Spanish. Actually, there's more, but there's 3 main things. It is the flamenco capital of Spain. It is the sherry capital, not just of Spain, but of the world. And it is home to the Royal Equestrian School of Andalusia. So that's where all the beautiful horses train. Now, we tell you all about these 3 icons of Jerez in this episode and some fun stories of how we were made feel like superstars at a couple of the local tabancos. If you would like to see the pictures that go with this episode of some of the sherry bodegas, some great ones of the horses and other places around Jerez, then click the link to episode 134 in the description on the podcast player you are listening on now. Please enjoy episode 134. Good morning, Lyle. How are you today?
Buenos dias, Leonita.
As I said in the intro, this episode 134, we are going to what we think is probably one of, if not the most Spanish cities in Spain, which sounds ridiculous, but we just absolutely love this place. We've had 2 weeks here and there's just too much to put in one episode. So we're going to spread it out. We've got so much information about visiting there. This place was an absolute joy. Jerez de la Frontera, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. And why did we go there? First of all,
we've got really, really close friends, Rhonda and Steve Bernaro, and they go there as often as they possibly can, and they have always raved about it.
We've been close before, Seville, Cadiz, that area, but we'd never actually been to Jerez. We'd been through there on the train to get to Cadiz, so we knew where it was.
Yeah, and I think too, the fact that they recommended it so highly, and they told us so much about it, we knew it was going to be different than anywhere we'd been before.
And it's the reason we say it's so Spanish, and the reason why Steve and Rhonda love it so much is it has the flamenco.
Yep.
It has the sherry.
Yep.
It has the horses.
Yeah.
And it has the beautiful tapas bars and the plazas. It is quintessential Spain. It is, it is wonderful.
And it is extremely affordable.
And gorgeous. The plazas, the statues, the shops, the streets. It was just really beautiful too.
Well, how much did our apartment cost? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was Australian, about $100 a night.
Yeah, it was so cheap. And the apartment was absolutely stunning. It had a rooftop swimming pool. Yeah. The kitchen was so modern. It was so quiet. It was excellent.
Yeah. Well, how did we get there? How did you get there? I did sort of hint on that earlier. But
yeah, well, we caught the train from Seville. It's only 47 minutes on the fast train. Buses are also available, especially connections within Andalusia, obviously southern Spain. Jerez Airport is conveniently located just 10 kilometres from the city centre. Several airlines offer direct flights from various European cities.
Yeah.
If direct flights are unavailable from your origin, you can consider flying into Seville and Malaga because they're not that far, and they've got fast train connections.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably fly into Seville and then, or as you said, or Malaga and go to Jerez. One of the things that we loved about Jerez was all the history there.
Yeah. Officially known as Jerez de la Frontera, is a city located in southwestern Spain. It's situated in the province of Cadiz. It lies in the valley of the Guadalquivir River and is known for its sherry wine production, flamenco dancing and equestrian traditions. Jerez de la Frontera boasts a rich history spanning over 3,000 years, with influences from the Phoenicians, which basically are Lebanese and Syrian ancestry, Romans and Moors before its Christian reconquista in 1264. Jerez thrived after the Reconquista, becoming a major trading hub and developing its unique identity.
Well, did you know, this is what I heard. Jerez was originally spelt with an X, X-E-R-E-S. That was it. Yeah, that was Roman, right?
Yep.
And then it became Xerish, so under the Moors, and Jerez de la Frontera in the 14th century. So,
yes.
And the name Jerez even inspired sherry, the word sherry. Jerez, when we say Jerez, is spelt Jerez.
Yep.
No one ever says the Z, And J is always like the H sound.
Yeah. Like it's like as we talked about earlier, and we're going to give you a bit of a history on flamenco and the horses and tabancos, and so I'll start with that. So Jerez is deeply intertwined with the history and culture of flamenco, often referred to as its birthplace. The city is considered the cornerstone of the art form, particularly for the cante hondo, which is the deep song, and the bolerias style, fast flamenco rhythm made up of a 12-beat cycle. Flamenco encompasses singing, guitar playing, and dancing, and your favorite art, the clapping. Flamenco is a uniquely Spanish art form, but has been deeply influenced by the cultural enhancers within Andalusian Spain, particularly through the contributions of the Roma or the Gypsies, the Moors, and the Spanish Jews. Additionally, there are suggestions of influence from Indian subcontinent, where the Roma people originated. During the Spanish Civil War, flamenco was suppressed due to its association with groups that opposed Franco's regime and its perceived backwardness by some intellectuals and the Catholic Church.
Now, flamenco, generally when people go to Spain, they love to go and see a flamenco show. So it's like, you go into a theatre and the performers dance there. And they do have some of that here in Jerez as well. But in Jerez, it is so grassroots. You actually go into a little bar or tabanco, they're called, and they're quite small and intimate, and they have a little stage, and you can go in there for free, just have a drink and watch, or you can sit and have food as well and sit down in front of the stage. But this is why it's so different in Jerez, is because bar after bar or tabanco after tabanco, every night, every day, there's just people doing flamenco. You basically can start at 2:00 in the afternoon, and it's not the big productions that you see in other places. This is the real life people that live. This is their jobs. This is what they do. This is their passion, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not, for me, the thing that really stood out to me, because we've been to flamenco in Granada and Seville, but the thing about Jerez was, it's not for the tourists. It's for the local people. It's like a religion to them.
Yeah, and that's what our friend Steve and Rhonda do. They go to Jerez, and because Rhonda is a flamenco dancer, and her best friend Carmen, who we're going to talk about in a minute as well, lives in Jerez and teaches her flamenco, and they go every day. They go to a flamenco show.
All day.
Not just one. Yeah. And you can start, as I said, they're at 2:00, 7:00, and then some at 8:00, 9:00, 10:00 at night, and then afterwards, all the locals, as you said, they all stand around afterwards, drinking and chatting like a local bar. It's incredible. And to be part of that was one of my favourite things, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you can't talk about flamenco without talking about the tabancos.
Yeah, well, and our tabancos are bars. They're called tabancos because they serve sherry straight from the barrels. So They've got the big wooden barrels at the back of the bar, and there's 5 or 6 different types of sherry, which, once again, we're going to talk about that in a little while. And you just order your sherry straight from the bar.
Or vermouth. They do vermouth as well.
Vermouth, yeah.
They're not big on the table wines, for the vino tinto or vino blanco. It's all about the sherry.
Yeah.
And with that, the sherry, you can buy it by the glass, obviously, in the tabanco itself, but they also serve bulk. So you can bring in a container and they'll fill it up. So
cool.
Tabancos in Jerez are traditional taverns deeply rooted in the city's sherry culture. They are believed to have originated in the 17th and 18th century, evolving from small shops that sold goods like tobacco and alcohol, often controlled by the state. And then they developed into places where locals gathered to socialize, enjoy sherry, and partake flamenco. Tabancos are known for their rustic interiors, old charm, and lively atmosphere, often featuring live music and flamenco performances. We cannot overemphasize the connection between the sherry, flamenco, and tabancos with the awesome experience of the unique culture of Jerez. Special thanks to our amazing friends Rhonda and Stephen Bordenero, who not only introduced us to Jerez, but also to the flamenco community in Jerez. Now, the first place we went to watch a show, a flamenco show, was the Tabanco a la Feria. It was fabulous.
And it started at 9 o'clock at night, I think, or 10 o'clock, one of those. And I think it was our first day that we'd arrived. And the reason we wanted to go there, get straight into the flamenco shows and bar and tabancos, was because Carmen, Rhonda and Steve's really good friend, was dancing there. And I'd seen videos of her dancing, and I just really wanted to meet them. And her husband plays guitar, Alberto. So I really wanted to go and see them. So Rhonda actually messaged Antonio, the owner, and said, can you book my friends Lyle and Leanne in and, make them feel special? And so we get there, and it's, as I said, little bar, probably 10 tables, set out, and we're right up the front. We walk in, and Antonio's just like hugging us like we are long lost friends. And the first thing we see is a painting of Steve up on the wall, and he's showing us, this is what Steve did for me, this painting. They're so proud, and friends of Steve and Rhonda's a friend of ours. We just felt like rock stars. So we've gone right up the front. Now, you need to book if you want to be at a table. Yep. That's what the first thing you need to know. And
that's to eat as well.
To have a table, you have to eat. That's correct. And obviously the prices vary, but you get drinks and you get a selection of different tapas and traditional foods, which was really substantial actually. And also you get to sit down right up the front. If you don't want to eat, that's fine. There's big barrels and chairs up the back that you can still see and hear the show, right? So we go right up the front, and before the show starts, Carmen pops out and says hello, and so the stars of the show are coming over to say hello to us. And then Antonio gets us up on the stage and asks someone else in the another table to take a photo of us. And people are looking at us like, who are these people? They've got the front row seat, and the owner's getting a photo of them, and the stars are coming out to say hello. And we just felt like
true. No, we did. Look, the table we had, if it was any closer to the stage, it would have been on the stage.
And you just see it, the footwork and the dancing and the facial expressions and the guy singing. And what gets me is the clapping, and then they're bringing food. It was one of the most memorable experiences that you'll have in Spain for sure. But I think there was another couple. They were from America, but everyone else seemed to be locals. If you're a tourist or you're there, then you probably do sit at the table, but the locals generally all hang up the back, and they all know each other. And that's another thing we didn't mention about Jerez. You don't see tourists. There's no walking tours with umbrellas walking around. There is a tourist information centre right there in the big plaza, but it is a city that is so Spanish and so local. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, but you better explain Stephen Bordenaro. Yeah. He's actually an artist. We didn't mention that. So
I said there was a painting that he'd done on the wall.
Yeah. So
he's very well known here and where we live in Caloundra and around the Sunshine Coast in Australia. He does huge big murals on buildings and fences and schools. He's just been up in the top of Queensland doing big murals, and then he does commissions for people as well, and he has his own style, like he's the Picasso of Australia, we say. So he's got these colourful paintings, and it wasn't the only place that we saw it. So, but we should move on. So that was Tabanco a la Feria.
Yeah.
And it was fabulous. And another Tabanco we went to was Tabanco el Pasaje.
Yep.
Yes. Now, that is probably one of the most well-known in Jerez, I would say.
Well, actually, it was the first.
Okay.
So there was the first Tabanco, and that was established in 1925. So this year, it turns 100.
Okay. And that was another place that you walk in, and it's, as you said before, it's so rustic. There's the barrels, there's the wooden tables, there's the little stage, and you just think, how can they dance on that? There are photos of all the flamenco dancers and guitar players and singers from over the years. And once again, we walk in, we introduce ourselves, and they were like almost jumping the bar to hug us because we were friends of Steve and Rhonda's. It was insane. And then come and take a photo. So they're taking photos of us and they're sending them to Steve and Rhonda.
So we met Christopher, Orlando, Rafael, and Antonio that night.
Yeah.
And they're actually dragging us inside the bar, behind the bar, to get these photos so they can send it to Steve and Rhonda. So Steve and Rhonda are definitely celebrities in this Jerez town.
I think we went to the 7:30 show. The show, the dancing show there, And once again, we didn't sit down at this one. We just got our little glass of vermouth and we stood there like with the locals and just watched the dancing. It's about an hour, the show, not atmosphere though. And I've got beachtravelwine.com, episode 134. I've got photos of some of the artwork that Stephen's done, but these flamencos and the flamenco dancers, because they're just so beautiful, and the bars are just so atmospheric, and it was hard not to be like transported back almost to another time, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about what you were saying, how small they are, it's the actual El Paseo actually is L-shaped, right?
Yes.
So where the bar is, you can look straight at the stage, but there's a wall there, right? So they've got this huge mirror up above the bar, so that if you're not directly in front of the stage, you can actually look at the mirror and watch the show.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And like, I just thought that is so cool. But that just gives you an idea of the size. They're quite small. It's very intimate, and as you said, in relation to A La Feria, because you're so close, everything's just so emotional and it's so intimate. It's brilliant to watch.
Yeah, we loved it for sure. Now, the other thing, and this is going to make me do it, with that, I'm going to put a link to episode 134 in the description on the podcast player you're listening on. And there's going to be a map there. And on that map, I am going to put all these places that we visited, like a Google map, everywhere we went, we're talking about, and a few extra places. So you can actually go onto the website and click on that Google map and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And if you're going to Jerez, this will be ideal for you. Now, one of the other things that we just said Jerez is known for is the sherry bodegas. I think you'd have to say that Jerez is the sherry capital of Spain, if not the world.
It's the world.
Yeah. So
it's the world. That's why places now can't, what used to be able to be called sherry all over the world, they can't use that word anymore. It's so hard to put into words how dominant the sherry production and drinking culture is in Jerez. It was suggested that we should book a tour of the Bodega Lastar, which we did. It was explained how these cellars, with their high ceilings, sandy floors, and specific temperature and humidity levels, are crucial for the proper aging of sherry, creating a unique microclimate.
The one we're talking about now is Bodega Lastar.
Yeah.
And or known as the Wine Cathedral.
Yeah.
And when you go into do the tour, you walk into the first room and it is stacked high with these barrels, and the ceilings are like the dome of a cathedral, aren't they?
Yeah. Bodega Lastar was founded in 1896 by Jose Ruiz Verdejo in Jerez. His daughter Maria Ruiz Verdejo and son-in-law Emilio Lastar expanded the business, creating iconic brands. It's known for its wide range of sherry styles, include Manzanilla.
Yeah, that's one I liked.
Yeah, Amontillado.
Yeah.
You like that one too?
Yeah.
Oloroso and other sweet sherries.
It's a bit like wine, as in you have like your sweet wine, white wine in Australia, and then your dry white wine, and then a bit stronger wine, and then you get into your rosé and your reds. So sherry's a little bit the same. They go from very light and then all the way to very, very dark and very strong.
And they also add liquor, alcohol to sherry. It's the sherry and the vermouth are actually fortified wines, and with the sherries, it's the spirit is a neutral grape spirit, and they add that, which means it doesn't affect their taste, but it obviously affects their alcohol level. Depending on how much of that they put in, is depending on how strong the sherry is.
Now, when you're walking around the streets of Jerez, and a lot of these very well-known bodegas are in walking distance of the main area.
Yeah.
You know when you're getting near a bodega because you can smell it, and it's the most distinctive smell. It's warm, it's caramelly,
nutty.
It is. You're just like, there must be a bodega here. Unless you've been there, it's hard to explain, but it's really nice. And then when you go actually inside them, it smells like history because those barrels, they never renew them.
No.
They're there forever. They have what they call is the Solera system of the barrels. So they have or obviously the barrels are stacked, so a big row across the bottom, and then they sort of go up in a triangle, don't they?
Yeah, so there's 3 levels,
right,
and the bottom level
is
obviously
the oldest one,
Yeah, yes,
and
correct.
the top level is the youngest wine.
Yeah,
And so when they take, it's like a what do they call
rotated.
that? Rotating system. So when they take the wine that's ready from the bottom, they then replace it from the second level down to the bottom, and then they take it from the top level down to the second level. So it's just a complete rotation system the whole time, which is really, really cool, isn't it?
And that also obviously gives it the consistency of taste.
And they write, the winemakers, sherry makers, they write on the front of the barrels in chalk, and they have their different symbols that indicate which wine it is and which level and which time it's up to, so they know what they're doing. That was a great tour, because the lady, every time we stopped, she would explain, and we would taste the sherry as we went, which I thought was wonderful.
Yeah, it was. Now, Lastau is unique as the only bodega with wineries in all 3 towns of the Sherry Triangle: Jerez de la Frontera, El Puerto de Santa Maria, and San Luca de Barrameda.
I've got really nice photos of Lastau, the bodega, and you'll see why it's called the Cathedrals of Wine. And then one of the barrels they've got on their tour is they've replaced the front of it with perspex instead of timber, and you can actually see the sherry inside. And some of the sherries, they put a layer of yeast on top, and with this particular one, they shined a light back through the barrel, so you could actually see the sherry doing its thing, and that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and well. that floor of yeast, as you call it, that's what they call it, a floor.
We really enjoyed that tour, and
the lady was fantastic.
She was really good, and it was just the smell, the sights, the taste. It was a how would you describe it? It just filled all your senses, didn't it? It was it was amazing. It was well worth doing. And Lastau, so that will be on that map I'm talking about in on episode 134.
Yeah, and I think I read somewhere there, I think there's over 40 bodegas in Jerez in that area. So it is certainly a big deal. And
there's also what they call the sherry route, like as in you walk the different bars or tabancos in town. You can go to the Tourist Information Centre and get that to follow. And we went to a few of those bars as well. So they're the ones that actually serve the local sherry straight out of the barrels in their tabancos.
Yeah, well, when we're going to talk about those tabancos in the next episode, when we'll talk about the food, we'll talk about the wine and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and the plazas.
And the plazas, in more detail.
There's just so much to Jerez. It's unbelievable.
And
we had 2 weeks. A lot of people just go for a day trip, not enough. You need a couple of days minimum, so you can go to a bodega, you can go to a flamenco show, you can walk the streets, see the plazas, and then the other thing you need to do in Jerez is...
Another symbol of deep cultural significance is the Royal Andalusian School of Equestrian Art of Jerez de la Frontera.
So it's like the Andalusian horses. They do a horse show, and it's a big school, and the gardens. We walked there. It's not that far. It's just out of the main area again. But when you walk in, you're just like, oh my gosh, the beautiful old buildings. The building that the actual arena itself is housed in is just so beautiful. The yellow painting on it, and the gardens itself. They had it set up, obviously, for some sort of conference or even a wedding. It looked like in the beautiful big pond and fountain in the middle of that. So just walking through those gardens was beautiful.
Yeah, well, the Carthusian substrain of the Andalusian horses are also known as Cartujano, began breeding in the 15th century by the Carthusian monks in Jerez. It is a must-see for its exceptional horsemanship, beautiful Andalusian horses, skilled riders, and the inspiring artistry and tradition of Andalusian equestrian culture. There are guided tours to see the horses and riders training, the stunning architecture and gardens. We were captivated by the displays of classical dressage, carriage driving, and country-style riding performed in the 18th century costumes to Spanish music. The main show is a weekly event, typically on Thursdays at noon. So it's important to check the schedule and arrive early.
Now, once again, I've got some really cool photos of the horses jumping and yeah, really cool. And I think a lot of people do a day trip from maybe Seville.
Yeah.
So there was a few coaches there. There's plenty of room. There were still seats empty.
Oh, yeah,
however,
sure.
I would book so you got a really good seat. And there's some VIP seating and that sort of thing. But it is probably better to arrive with your ticket and get them online easy enough.
Yeah, that's how you did it, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah, and look, that was probably the one thing
you really wanted to
I really wanted to do, because we'd seen a show in Cordoba a few years back, and I was just blown away with it. And this was fabulous as well. And there is one little tip. On the way home, obviously, we were getting a bit hungry.
Yes.
So we started heading back to the city centre, and there we saw a little bar there. It looked a little bit modern, actually, to be honest. And it was called Quince Arabas. So it's Quince, which is Quince, which is 15. It's Quince, Arabas, which is, the food was sensational. We had we shared actually, but I had the pork cheeks and Leanne had the pork belly and caramelised onion, and we actually went back there. We walked from the city centre. It was that good.
Yeah.
To do it again. So,
and that will be on the map with episode 134. So from the link in the description, go and have a look at that. And the photos, as I said, we've got photos of the flamenco dancers. I've got photos of the tabancos. I've got photos of that beautiful cathedral of wine, and just some of the areas around Jerez. We just loved it. And we're going to talk about next time a bit more. We did a wonderful walking tour, but it was with voice map, and it's something that we just, oh my gosh, that's been life-changing for us, to getting that free app. And I'm going to talk all about that and the tour that we did with that, because that was amazing, wasn't it? Because it's not touristy. Some places you go, you can't just go on a walking tour because nobody does them. Or you want to, the walking tour isn't when you want to do it yourself, or, so this, the way we did it, we're going to talk all about that, and then talk about the places that we went, the historical places. And there's some really amazing places in Jerez, from the cathedral to the Alcazar to the baths to, the squares to the town hall. Like, it was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah. Look, we've probably changed our format a bit on this particular podcast, because Leanne and I, we talked about how we could do justice to Jerez as in a cultural centre. So we thought we wanted to do that part of it first. And seriously, it is a town like no other.
Yeah, so the flamenco with, Carmen and Alberto, that was, magical for us to meet them. The tabancos, that where we felt like rock stars, but, you just walk in and get a drink and watch the show. It's no big deal, but it's still amazing, right?
Yeah, well, we probably haven't highlighted too how well known and how respected Carmen is.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we're sitting watching TV.
She's probably the most famous flamenco dancer in Jerez and that Andalusian area. So you're watching TV and an ad comes on.
And here's Carmen dancing. They're trying to sell tiles.
Oh, the beautiful tiles out in the desert, like a big square.
Which, of course, Spain's known for these beautiful, colourful tiles. And here's
an
Carmen,
aerial shot.
And, they've got the drone above her, and she's doing flamenco on these tiles. And we're looking and we're going, that's Carmen. Yeah. That's unbelievable.
And there's shops around the El Pasaje that sell the flamenco.
Oh, that's
clothes,
right.
And it's such a big thing, like the beautiful dresses, the headwear, the jewelry. It's just beautiful. And the girls come out in their outfits, and then they have a break halfway and they change outfits, go from the emerald green to the beautiful black and purple.
Oh, and the red with the white spots.
Yeah, and they're done, and they've got beautiful headpiece, and it's just stunning, isn't it? And we were lucky to see those shows when we were in Jerez, and you won't see any other flamenco shows like that in another part of Spain.
Yeah, I think what also helped us is your birthday present, which was the we had a flamenco dance class in Seville.
Yes.
And of course, we've gone from Seville to Jerez. So that class and finding out about the history of how, how it all works, I think that give us a much more appreciation of what we were watching in Jerez. And we're probably fanboy and fangirl of flamenco now.
Yeah.
It was, it's very much not only a performance, the experience was unbelievable.
And it's so well situated, Jerez too. So it's certainly, we're going to make sure we encourage people, even though we don't want it to get touristy, but we want to encourage people to go there for more than just a day trip. It is worth so much more than that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I said, go and check out our website, beachtravelwine.com. This is episode 134, and you'll see all the pictures and links and the map that I've been working really hard on. And we'll be back in our next episode with heaps of information about what else there is to see besides those cultural, things that stand out. Yes?
See.
All right. Well, it's adios para mí.
And adios from me.